Okay, here we are, after party 18, where we discuss sessions 54, 55, and an extended 56. Let's talk about the first one. This is called The Infinite Hero.
Liar.
What a guy.
Oh, I love
did
Tolstoy.
play him really well.
Man, I love Tolstoy.
So amazing.
So jump right into that, Leland. Tell us a little bit. Well, let's see. It starts out, actually, I think Bryn gets a visit from Ciari, if I remember correctly.
Oh, true. Yeah, I didn't know what to do.
So what happened?
Well,
I mean, we listened to it.
you guys listened to it. Leland did an amazing job, like, the description and everything. And then I realized that Bryn was really by herself. And it's like, did she say anything? Probably not. She's by herself. Yeah, it was cool. We kind of had this planned for a while, though. But I didn't know how it was going to happen, though. So it was kind of cool.
So, not knowing any of I didn't get to listen to any of the other stuff in the past, but you were stung by a insect of some kind, which has given you druidic powers.
There's like a wasp that kept buzzing, and it was like preceding these visions that I would have of Ciari.
Damn wasps going around imbuing powers on people.
I don't know. I guess so. It was maybe her like chosen animal form as a druid. How would I know? I don't know. I mean, maybe I would know. And then, yeah, so Ciari, was it the first 2 times I saw her? She was covered in the black goo and everything.
The first time she was just covered in the slime.
Slime, yeah.
The second time was the slime and the tendrils of seaweed.
Just trying to warn you. And you didn't listen.
She was warning and pointing to the storm. So, like, I will say that Bryn arrived to Pisces, as everyone knows, like, very frustrated and angry and pissed off and pouty and whatever. And then seeing Ciari sort of, like, snapped her back into, like, caring about what the crap that storm was and what was going on. So, yeah, she was a blubbering idiot for the first vision afterwards. But, come on, I did some good acting, no? It annoyed the crap out of you. But yeah, like, basically it helped me play Bryn like she had a purpose for going into that storm. Because I think Shaft's purpose, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but your purpose was to get it over with and get Falzarin back on track with, you know, say she's dead and get it over with. Same thing with the house,
Absolutely.
right? So my whole purpose became, like, why did I care? I don't know. But then when she showed up and started pointing, I started caring. And then, yeah, I'm kind of mad that the handprint washed off my armor. I thought that was kind of cool.
It didn't completely wash
Not
up. Not
completely. It reminded me, I like pictured like Wilson, like the volleyball and like the bloody handprint. Like a face on it. The headband's pretty cool too. Of course, when I'm describing it, I said twig and berries like a friggin' like sexual reference. I meant to say like naturey, and I said twig and berries. Like, oh my gosh.
So how long have you just known you were going to multiclass to a druid?
A while? Months?
Really?
Yeah. I think since I turned level 5, probably.
Yeah, I think so. I can't quite remember the episode number that had that first vision in it, but it was shortly after the Nyogi cave encounter. So, yeah, a number of episodes ago.
I think that I thought about it, and I think that I was jealous of Bill multiclassing, to be honest. I thought it was cool, too. I thought I could cast spells.
I was going to say, I think you've probably been planning it since about the day after you found out that I multiclassed.
Which it took me a little while to figure out, because it was like
That's
so
true.
simple.
Well, yeah, and you know, multiclassing is cool for one, and also though dependent on your stats. So you came to the conclusion of the class that you maybe were interested in, and then you and I kind of brainstormed, well, how does this really kind of make sense for Bryn? And that was
True.
kind of that's kind of the almost, it's actually the exact opposite of the way it worked with Falzarin. Is Falzarin kind of fell into this opportunity.
More like he was pushed.
Or was pushed, yes.
Yeah.
And then, but Bryn, we kind of ramped her.
It was
into
like a reverse engineering of like, okay, so if I'm gonna be a druid, because my wisdom is this or whatever, like, who or how and what's my focus, and like Ciari was never, it never said what she was in the past, and it wasn't written into the history that she was a druid. We just kind of, it fit.
Right.
So, and wood elf, it makes sense.
It led to a lot of excellent character development and character progression, maybe is the better term for Bryn. I mean, I like how they all turned out. I think your roleplay was excellent in all the situations, absolutely. And again, like you said, you didn't know how the exact events were going to play out. I mean, you basically were like, well, what if like Ciari has something to do with it? And I mean, and I ran with it. So
yeah, you do a good job of like you and Emily have talked about before, where you had some things planned, but she didn't know exactly how it was going to happen. So, like, when it's happening, you're like, oh, this is it, it's happening. But, like, you didn't say, Leland, do this, right?
It's happening!
And I think at this point, everyone knows, I can produce flame, you guys. I can produce flame. That's all I do.
What?
All I do is cantrip all day.
Well, honestly, it really comes in handy quite quickly.
It has a few times, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been trying to start playing her since those visions as a little bit less evil, and I know that you laugh at that, but I'm trying to play her as like a little bit less, I don't know.
You're more of like, instead of a murder hobo, you're kind of like an assault hobo now.
What a hobo. I feel like I've tried to like not fight the good stuff as much, or like to care about the black goo and stuff. I really do. I think I'm playing her like that. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
whatever.
No, I've noticed that.
I agree with you. I think there's a very clear shift in some of Bryn's motivations. Absolutely.
Trying, right? She's new to this whole being good, having a goal and purpose.
Yeah, and I think you were sort of lost as a character at the beginning anyway, right?
Definitely. I didn't realize when we started playing how recently, like, my heist with Ciari was, and that death and all that. Like, yeah, so it's really not been that long since she died either, so, like, it's pretty fitting.
Yeah, we kind of came into Bryn's life when she's going through a bad time.
Yeah, sort of cycles around. And then after the Ciari visit, we all discussed leveling up to level 6. So we did get our level updates. Not a lot to talk about there, but especially for me. But we did get some cool little stuff here and there, right?
Yeah. All of which, thoroughly covered in the episode.
Exactly.
Paladins are cool, and all I gotta say is she better remember all those things that are helpful. Because you definitely have a lot going on. I'm like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better not forget that aura, considering where we left off.
Yeah.
Well, to start at a level 6 is rough. You haven't been doing it for months to remember all those things. I at least can remember, cunning action, this, that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I read over everything every time before we play, just to remind myself.
I mean, we wouldn't blame you if you start saying, I'm raging, by the way, or...
Channeling my inner Gozer.
The cliffhanger's different without a to blave. It really is,
So the rest of session 54 is really hard to talk about because we've had the private discussion from Falzarin and Brindle, followed up by the Bryn listening to the private discussion of Falzarin and Brindle, and then Bryn's private conversation. So there was most of that episode was all private stuff. Is there anything we can talk about at this point, since all those have been released?
Well, I'm not sure. I will certainly say that I hope Falzarin is with the events of session 56, that Falzarin is kind of thinking back on some of the conversations he and Brindle had, and maybe gleaning a little more information from some of the questions that Brindle posed. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Bill wants to speak about kind of the conversations that he had, and maybe I don't know if Elena wants to share, but with Elena's little bit, I certainly hope the listener is going like, what's going on? That's my hope, at least, anyways.
Where it was like the human that I ran into?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was kind of playing... I had some suspicions about Brendel, but I don't know if Falzarin did. I want to say that he didn't, because when we were talking, Brendel and I privately, also known as me and Leland privately talking,
AKA.
there was some information that I was thinking about giving Brendel that was information only Falzarin knows, that is something that he's kind of kept secret for a long time. Basically, a very specific thing. Sorry to dance around it, but John and I haven't heard any of this. So,
Ooh,
Brendel,
tell me.
Brendel, yeah, yeah. So Brendel knows like the big picture of that, but doesn't know all the specifics. And Falzarin almost told him the specifics, but then had some pause, and I kind of was talking to Leland, saying, has Brendel mentioned things that would corroborate more or less to Falzarin that this is in fact Brendel? It's not someone impersonating him. And we came to the conclusion that yes, Brendel had, he knew the names of people from Heraklion that we would know, other things like this that make it seem plausible that this is in fact Brendel, but I was a bit suspicious.
I will say from listening in, there were a few different things that you touched on that I did not, they were general enough that whether it was you keeping something from Brendel or whether it was something that you both knew, I couldn't understand it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So yes, I did end up keeping that one final thing that I haven't shared with anyone so far in Falzarin's life. Falzarin did end up not sharing that with Brendel.
Right.
And I'm sighing a huge sigh of
You're
relief
happy
at
about
this
that?
point.
Well, Brendel, it is Brendel. So, your question made sense, of course, but the deep scions are created. The person who dies is transformed into servitude. So it is Brendel. It has all of Brendel's knowledge.
Yeah.
It's not a replacement of Brendel. It is Brendel.
Right.
So that is why he has any of the knowledge that you would want to quiz him about. That's because he knows it. He lived it.
You should know that you're a deep scion.
Yes,
so
that's true.
Did Falzarin know Brendel before Brendel was turned, or was Brendel, as Falzarin knew, always turned?
I don't know if we can know that.
That's kind of what I'm wondering, how
Good
long has
question.
Brendel not been Brendel? Yeah, that's an interesting kind of thing we can theorize about.
I will say something that doesn't give anything away to John and Emily too much. From what I overheard when I was spying on their conversation, I found it interesting and very suspicious that Brendel accused Campbell of creating the potions incorrectly and screwing that up. And I thought to myself, how easy would it be for Brendel to be like, screw Shaft and Bryn, I hate them, they caused me the most trouble. Let's kill them. And sabotage it. But then, in the store too, he seemed embarrassed, so maybe he's just not competent, whatever. But
Brendel not competent? No.
Right, with his little sparklers.
He has sold this role of incompetency quite well, I think.
He really has.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
there was some suspicion going into the next session, but, whatever.
Now, can Deep Scion, do they have dark vision?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So this whole time...
what a sneak.
We can get to some of the Brendel stuff. Let's just continue to go back and move to the other. We'll get to some Brendel stuff I want to talk about at the end, but...
Do you think I should talk about my visit or no? Leave it.
You can do whatever you like.
I kind of feel like sharing it.
Oh,
With-
go ahead.
Sure.
With the people, as long as you can play like you don't know. It's nothing too crazy.
I can try.
If it's not something you want the characters to know, then maybe not.
I will say that for Emily and Bill, it will not be any type of revelation, but for John, it will mean something to John.
You want me to? You guys can talk about it. I'll take
John's
my
the one that
headphones
wants to play the character and learn how to.
I think John probably
to know things.
is one of the
can-
more capable of us.
Yeah.
Basically, I got visited by Frederick Boddington.
Old Freddy.
Old Mr. Boddington.
Yeah.
Who posted the job for fixing this black goo situation.
That's where I recognize the name.
And, Shaft said he met him in a brothel or whatever, but Shaft obviously sought out this job posting. And he came to me saying that Shaft spoke of me highly, which is good, but he's realizing how increasingly difficult this task is, and he wants to offer us, first of all, his best wishes, but he wants to offer us more gold. And says that he just really has Port Randus in mind and wants to protect his interest. And so he offered me more gold in addition to any magical items we might find. And he also reoriented me and told me where to find these things.
These things being magic items?
Yeah, I guess he has a nefarious past and isn't proud of what he
doesn't?
did, but stash some stuff away. What was the word he used? Till the heat wore off.
Yeah.
Till the heat died down. So Bryn's reason for keeping it private and also not rushing right away to that spot was just so that if and when this problem gets solved, we can go to these items, but when she goes to get payment from Boddington, she can pay you what you thought you were getting paid, and she can pocket the rest.
That's exactly what I would do, too.
That's the main
Bryn's
reason.
character has developed, but not developed that much.
It is exactly what I should do, being Bryn.
Yeah.
To make the extra, whatever, 400 gold or whatever. But it's nothing too crazy. I mean, unless he told Shaft something totally different in a different location, I don't know why he would play us against each other. It was more of an increased money that I got out of it. I don't know what he told Shaft, right? So...
Right.
Listener comparing the two would know the difference.
Right.
Leland's smiling, so who knows? But, he told me what he told me, and Bryn's playing it as I just want to make more money for myself, so that's why I didn't mention it.
Right.
Very well,
So
as
now,
you should.
I will say, before you may or may not respond, John, I would say that if you wanted to reveal what you have, I think would be appropriate for the point we have reached in the story. I think it would be appropriate to share, but again, that's still completely up to you.
Yeah, I don't need to respond.
Oh, snap.
All right.
So Shaft, again, knows everything, and we know nothing.
No, I think you're doing exactly what I would do and what you should do, and I think Sakara would definitely tell, and I think Falzarin would definitely tell, but I think you would probably, as much as you dislike Shaft and feel that he's always misleading you, you probably wouldn't be so forthcoming with that until the right moment, at least.
Right, and if I go to collect payment, now that you guys know that, don't be like, no, we'll go together. Just, play it like you normally would.
The only thing you would be worried about is if we both went and saw Frederick Boddington at the same time, and then he goes, oh, and here's the extra money we spoke about. That might be a problem
but
for you.
At that point, I'd probably split some with Shaft and be like, for your silence. That's how Shaft and Bryn would understand.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah.
Well, as far as Shakara and Falzarin know, it's the 150 that was on the job board.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We don't know anything about any extra that you guys have been offered, other than Shaft said that there were magic items somewhere. And actually, Shakara doesn't know that.
I was going to say, maybe Shaft was offered a different amount or some other promise as well, but he came to me with a certain amount, and that's what I ran with, so...
Well, it obviously wasn't... It was... apparently not enough if he's willing to give some more money for it. So it
he's
wasn't a massive
worried
amount.
because of the he's had word of or whatever, he knows groups are disappearing, things are complicated, it's harder than he thought, is what I got the impression of.
Things are
getting
worse and worse, and no one's getting closer to solving it, so...
It's a dangerous
thing.
job.
Yeah.
Well, it's easy for me to forget. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, so then I came down and showed
Gone.
you all I'm a druid. Boom, gone. All right.
All right. So the next thing
Falzarin's
we
jealous.
got to was our good friend. I think it's Tostov Melodin. Is that the way you say it?
Tolstov. Yeah, Tolstov.
Tolstov. The Doc Elf guy who found an arm. We ran
Yeah,
into
that's
him.
just it. He found an arm.
Earned that
Yeah,
arm. What are you
hand up.
talking
Oh,
about?
wait a second. I said that wrong. Who had an arm that he removed from a beast. Not Erica, right? Because nobody knows Erica's the beast. Wink.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of forgot that we're the only people that, well, not even
Shakara reminded
Shakara.
us, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think... anyway, so he shows up with this story about finishing up the Infinite Storm or destroying it or whatever. One found a small island and with a hut on it. Saw a hideous creature and he killed this creature and got back in the boat. Traveled on the storm, fell into the water, and was recovered with the severed arm in his possession. A fantastic story, which Shaft
That's just what it is, a story.
Shaft believes wholeheartedly. I believe Falzarin also feels that we've met the criteria that we needed to finish Erica off, but Bryn has a different take on it.
Are you playing Shaft that he wholeheartedly believes, or are you just choosing to believe against the odds because you want Falzarin to move on?
Shaft does not want to screw with Erica anymore. So
I know, but you
anytime
don't
I get the
truly
opportunity to say
believe-
it's done, it doesn't.
That
Like I
she's
think I
dead?
said, I don't.
Or that he killed her.
Well,
What are you
that
questioning?
she's dead.
I think logically I'd make the assumption that everybody in that cave is dead. But
Yeah?
there's a possibility of Gozer and or Erica being alive, but I
Not
don't
anymore.
If there at that point, if there was a situation where I think Erica might be alive, I certainly am not going to talk to Falzarin about that because I don't want to have anything more to do with this.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean, is like you're trying not to let Falzarin get his...
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
going to
you
try
wanna be
everything I
over-
do to convince Falzarin that Erica's dead. And he started believing that in that way, so I'm going to support that at all costs.
Well, you all know
Yeah.
my opinion from the episode. I think she wouldn't have planned that trap without an escape. But anyway.
I think Falzarin and Shaft, don't believe this dude's story, but want to believe that Erica is dead. Falzarin's still a bit weary of fully resting, back on his laurels and saying, yeah, no big deal. We don't have to worry about this. That's an end that's tied off. But so that's why I threw a potion at him, because I thought, maybe this is Erica trying to play it off as she's been killed and lay low under the radar, and who knows what next. That's what she was doing thus far. She was pretending she was this little old lady. So I thought, well, Erica's missing an arm, so if Erica's using disguised self as this person, then one of those arms doesn't actually exist and is just an image that is being projected. So I threw the potion with the intent of this guy needing both arms to catch it.
I hope we don't regret that missing potion.
Yeah. Well,
I would assume that Bill's properly keeping track, which I doubt.
That's actually true, looking at his sheet.
I'll remove that potion from the 50 others that Falzarin has in his bag of holding.
Well, I hope you've removed the two from the coral urn that Bryn gave and drank.
Yeah, that was, yes, helped herself
Did
to one.
you?
So yeah, that was the last little bit of that Falzarin needed to be like, okay, let's go with, the storm's gone, here's her arm, and this person who's got her arm isn't her being disguised, so maybe she is dead. That's great news.
It seemed to me that the storm being gone would be a big sign that she's gone.
You would think.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so then after that, we sort of split up. Shakara, Brindle, Falzarin, and Shaft went to see Campbell and at the Golden Ichor to discuss the potions of water breathing. And Bryn went off to get a little bit more information from whatever his name was. I just forgot it again.
Tolstov.
Senior Tolstov.
Had a conversation with Campbell. Campbell, with the fantastic German accent, who buys his vials in bulk.
Yeah, such a good character, seriously.
Yeah. Had some conversations with him. He didn't seem to know a whole hell of a lot about the black goo, which was the whole reason we went back to see him. He seemed like he knew less about it than we did. We were basically educating him on how it worked.
Yeah, that's true.
It's black.
It's got blood in it.
Yeah, we didn't know it had blood in it yet.
But, yeah, we did learn about the blood, and it was interesting when we poured it on the dead water-breathing thing, whatever it was called.
Breath pod.
You got to see the breathing pod sort of reanimate, and so, yeah, that was an interesting interchange, and he did give us some real potions of water breathing, and like we talked about before, Brindle, obviously, for whatever reason, was not making very good water breathing potions. And Shakira went back. She went to the what's the bar called?
The Jack Deal.
The Jack Deal, and made a lot of friends there.
Yeah.
Right. You know
She
how
was
I
the
do.
life of the party.
You're a
how I
loudmouth,
do.
Bryn. You're a loudmouth. That's all you are. You're lucky you haven't got your comeuppance yet. I was like, oh, is she gonna draw on this guy in the middle of this bar? Because that would have turned very poorly for you, I think.
She said he
I
drew
got
his
the
sword
information
first.
I needed, and I didn't care if they kicked me out or if I jetted like I was out. It's fine.
He did draw his sword, but he drew it to add to the flourish of his story. Yeah,
Exactly. But I think she may have thought it was
Elena
threat.
definitely did and played it wrong. It's fine. Bryn can make the same mistake.
But lucky enough, you just pissed off a lot of people and they threw you out, and it really
It's
didn't
fine.
cause any big kerfuffle there.
This is where I understand you guys think I haven't changed, but yeah.
Not only that, there's a couple other things that happen.
Right. I know, I'm sorry. I just...
Change takes time. It's okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then we went back and saw Campbell again. Picked up the potion. We made sure we tested Bryn's potion of water breathing, and essentially went to the Salty Gemini since we couldn't go back to the Jack Deal anymore. And we had about a 20-minute conversation of our plan of attack on how we were going to get in the boat and head back to the lake.
Which Leland will cut down to like 5 minutes, right?
No, it was good. It was a good
Doubtful.
conversation. Which brings us now to the last episode we just did, 56, yet to be titled, right?
I think we got the title.
Session 56, Krelakina.
Yeah,
Krelakina.
So who wants to dive into this?
Well, we had
Dive.
to let the listener behind the curtain. We just played, and now we're doing the after party. So, unfortunately, there's no listener feedback or questions or
We have a lot of questions, trust
rules
me.
corrections. So we dodged that bullet this time. Yeah, this one was fun. You want me to
That's
go
what you
over
call
the synopsis,
dig into
John?
it.
You call
Dig into
that
it, Bill.
fun?
Well, I don't
was
want to step
stunning.
on story time with John's toes.
No. John's perfectly fine with
It's
somebody
my
stepping on my
favorite
toes.
part of the after party.
It is.
It legitimately is. So yeah, I was worried that I was gonna get Faltern killed, but
Again.
yeah, I was
Why
not
play
excited.
him so brave? You played him way too brave. He's not that brave.
Well, I think Falzarin is becoming more brave, and I think also, there was no other option really. So we kind of hummed what we were gonna do. We took off towards away from Pisces, following the river. We were all in the boat. We come across this cultist who sees us and takes off. and we go after him in pursuit to try and, prevent him from getting away and alerting some other bad guys, or to, question him and find out what's going on. But before we actually knew he was a cultist, one of the party members elected to try and slow him down by shooting him with an arrow.
He wasn't gonna stop.
But you were gaining on him. All you had to do was tackle him.
Yeah, but this way he could just be down.
It's one way to go about it.
If you had rolled poorly, he would have been down permanently.
Okay, but tackle and hold someone, or like injure them so then they can't get, like, what if he got out of my grapple or something, then he could run away. But
what
with
if
a
he
bad
was
leg,
like
he's not
a
gonna run away.
12-year-old teenager who was scared that once he turned around and you saw his face, he realized, oh, I've just shot an innocent
Bryn
young
would
person.
probably feel bad. Like, she would act first, feel bad later.
Leland needs to start doing that to punish Bryn for being a murder hobo.
No.
Having Bryn
Act
accidentally murder
first,
children.
regret later, you know? Like, come on.
Anyway,
It's the circle of life.
I'll try to leave my commentary out of the synopsis, but
That's how story time works. You got to add that in.
yeah.
It's the circle of life.
So we got to interrogate this guy, found out he was in fact a baddie, and he first used the word Krelakina, which Falzarin recognized as being a word from a different language, Sylvan, which kind of jogged his memory back to remember that there was writing in Isabella's original tomb. There was some papers and whatnot that were also in Sylvan, so he shared that with the party. So we ended up leaving that guy tied up, carried onto the lake, and decided, Bryn and I, to go for a swim underwater, initially just holding our breath with a rope in tow. Made it a little ways down, couldn't really see anything, and then Falzarin decided to fully commit. Drank his potion and threw up a flaming sphere to light the way.
Oh, I thought you were going to say threw up a mini horse.
No. Bryn ended up, when Falzarin's flaming sphere went out, ended up signaling the rest of the party using the rope. They followed. And that led us into this cave that we discovered underwater, which led to above water.
So what do we think was that big shadow?
I don't know that we want to know.
Krelakina.
Yeah?
I think so. Yeah.
Then why were the bodies piled up inside the cave, like
Well,
rotting?
they've already been used.
They were used. No,
They
because
drained
when
their
they're
blood?
used, they turn into black goo, right? Like his poop or something. I don't know. So...
Maybe they just drain the blood and feed the blood to the thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It's like a pile of bodies rotting, ready to feed, and then they feed him. He poops out black goo.
I think they take live people and drain them of their blood, and the blood has something to do with Krelakina. It feeds Krelakina or something like that.
Then how does the black goo get formed?
Krelakina has something to do with that. It creates it, or I don't know.
Is it her poop? I think it's her poop.
If you recall, on the floor directly, like on that little cavern shore of the water, you saw black slime trails on the rocky floor.
Oh, it wasn't like
So
a bloody body.
The
Okay.
thing could go to the room. Maybe it just likes the water better, but it couldn't
Oh,
go
it
on
like
land.
comes out of water, like
Yeah, like a
like a
walrus.
reptile.
Maybe, but the trail did not lead all the way to the chamber with the bodies.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
Comes to shore and is like, "Feed me!" Opens his mouth.
Yeah.
Feed me, Seabold.
Oh man, if we have to defeat this thing in the water, like how? Ugh.
Yeah, you guys will die.
Need to get some crabs.
Well, yeah, where you guys are gonna die. Oh,
I think
thanks,
we
Leland.
need to try and fight
End
it
of the
on
story.
land.
Yep.
Time to start season 2.
Yeah.
So next we see a little flickering of light down one of these 3 tunnels, and a small hooded figure going in the opposite direction, which we follow.
So, John, when you were trying to do find object,
Mm-hmm.
what were you concentrating on?
Yeah.
The robe.
Yeah, but
Well,
you had
from
us
who?
go off mic.
The robe from who? Whose robe?
I didn't have you go off mic there.
Oh.
The only time we went off mic is when I whispered something in the guy's ear.
Oh, right.
No, I was just
Whose
trying to
rogue
figure
were you
out
concentrating on?
the guy that was running around in front of us. I was trying to figure out how to use, like Leland said, it's not person, it's object. So I was trying to figure out how I could try to find him when we went around the corner, right? Because we lost visual of him.
Yeah.
The reason I didn't want to necessarily do it was because both spells were concentration spells and we would lose our stealth. So once I decided to do locate object, we lost our stealth bonus.
Well, I just thought it had to be something you were familiar with, like it was somebody that you knew, their cloak you were trying to concentrate on. I thought you had somebody specific in mind.
Potentially, but that's not something anybody would know about.
It didn't end up being who you thought.
Well, not necessarily. I just brought it up to Leland if there was anybody there if it was somebody. It would be like if I was at the mall and I went, oh, I wonder if I can locate Emily. And if you were in there, I would locate Emily. I didn't know if it would work.
Yeah, so you weren't thinking of theft, though.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so we instead of the locate, was it locate object?
It's locate
Yeah.
object is what I was using.
Yeah, so instead of that pointing us in the direction that we saw the person disappear in, they quickened their pace, which led us to think that maybe they were onto us, tailing them.
Right.
You sensed them off to the side of us. Was it our left side?
Our left.
I think so, yeah. Which is why I sort of thought there might be a hidden passage there.
Yeah.
It just confused us more and delayed us going to where we probably would have ended up. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's confusing.
I mean, if we would have found a secret passage and opened the door and there he was, that would have been pretty cool too. I just didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know
I was
how,
also trying to go to the left because I thought, let's follow this guy, but
Well, yeah, that was a bit
confused.
Yeah, because the it seems like the person we were following was Thuft, but we had to go right to find Thuft. So that's kind of a mystery that we'll have to figure out next time.
I mean, one thing I was thinking when we were doing it, the two spells that I had, Pass Without a Trace and Locate Object, it's sort of a weird, like, I think Elena asked the question, did you tell us I stopped using Pass Without a Trace? And I started thinking to myself, how would that be in game, right? You would cast a spell that gave you all of us this benefit, basically made us all quieter in a 30-foot radius of me. And then when I changed the spell, how do you think you should denote that to somebody? Hey, this noise that we've reduced now, I'm not going to have that anymore. Would you even state that, or how?
Well, and like in game too, how would we know you're trying to locate object in game unless you're like, here,
exactly.
I'm going to concentrate on his cloak, and you didn't really say it out loud, so it's hard to know how to play that.
Right. That's why I said I sense that he might be this way. Is all I could say, because without going, well, I have this spell that I can locate object, and I'm using the. I just don't think you would do that. You would just say, just like your skills, right? You have skills that you do, and you're like creating fire or whatever. It's just an accepted thing. I can track people. Thematically, you could say I was just tracking like I was tracking people's footprints on the ground too.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, Pass Without Trace specifically also, in addition to the plus 10 to stealth, it does make it so you literally don't make tracks. I believe that's in the spell text. So if someone were chasing you,
right.
I think the idea behind this spell is that you cast it when you are being pursued, not when you are pursued. Which
true.
is also a part of it. So if that, if the roles were reversed and Zombie Thuff was chasing you, I could have described, well, you notice now once, like, you are making no prints, you are much more difficult to beat, like that kind of stuff, right? Like you could expound on the spell descriptions in the, like, I think that falls under the rules as intended kind of thing. But again, it because you get this skill bonus, like, it can be utilized in a variety of ways, which can sometimes make the physical manifestation of these types of spells difficult to ascertain or really describe.
Yeah, I mean, it says right in the text, gives you a +10 bonus to dexterity stealth checks, and can't be tracked except by magical means. So it implies right there that you're being tracked, right? And it's
Right.
pass without a trace. But,
Exactly.
you can use it both ways. So I think we've only used it in the way to sneaky.
Yeah.
Because nobody's ever chased us yet.
From that chamber, though, you guys left no tracks of the direction you headed from the larger chamber. So
That's
someone that may come in after you've left, they would be like, maybe you could pick up some of like your presence, but as soon as you cast it and moved into that tunnel, they have no idea where you went. So it's still beneficial.
That is good. Are we just calling him zombie theft? Is that a thing?
Well, I don't know.
I kind of like it. It's fine. I'm just wondering.
So yeah, next this terrible smell kind of knocks us back, and the path forks to the left and to the right, and Falzarin takes a few steps to the right to kind of see what he can see. Sees that there's this chamber and then a second chamber that branches off that's got a bunch of bodies. And Shakara senses that there's undead in there, and we also hear a bit of noise coming from there, described as wood brushing against or grinding against, scraping
Stone.
against stone. Yeah.
And not having dark vision sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It really sucks.
And then now you know how Brendel's felt for 20 sessions.
Yeah, fuck Brendel.
Indeed.
That is the way to say it. Oh.
This encounter did not turn out like I thought it was going to at all, just because, man, it took you fucking forever to get in there.
It's true.
Jesus H. Christ.
We had to chase down the random guy we saw, and
I will say, so originally Uncle Vanette was not going to be a zombie. You were just going to find his body and possibly be able to recover his sigil, but I needed something to make noise. So now, unfortunately, he is a zombie, and will be adding to the encounter for the next episode when you actually get into that fight. So some of your reluctance made that next fight more difficult.
the find object, I think, really added 15 minutes of like, what are we doing? Which way do we go? Do we stealth? Do we not? It was super annoying to me. I was like, let's just do something.
That's a good point. And I wanted to ask Leland, when you said that the object Shaft was tracking was to the left of us, did you mean to the left or to the right?
He meant the
To
left.
your left.
Was
The
that a
orientation in which you were moving down that tunnel, to your left. Now, okay, unless I misinterpreted some of the slyness that John was trying to put across in front of you because of knowledge you all do not have. So maybe I misinterpreted that. But John is still being transparent, being opaque, in this brief conversation you had about it before. It does all make sense. Yes, it does not. It makes sense that it doesn't make sense to your characters.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Clear as mud.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it is. So again,
He
it's
thought
not
it was
very
his halfling buddy, whatever his
It's
name
not
is.
clear. It's not clear what information the characters have as far as the locate object results. Right? Like I don't think
Right.
you don't know. You don't know that he cast locate object and was like, oh well, this thing that I think we're looking for is this way.
Right.
That's right. That's not the conversation. So really, your characters shouldn't really be thinking about it, right?
Right.
okay.
But to me, Falzarin saw a bunch of dead bodies. We heard a faint scraping. Who cares? Let's go the other way. Because Shaft also said something's this way. So I was like, let's go. But there was like,
Well,
what
see,
if
the
it's
thing
an innocent
is,
person? What
I
if
don't think that Shaft really said something is this way. He's like, maybe we should check for secret passageways here.
Right.
Okay, so I misplayed that then.
Well, I don't think it's, I don't think we would call it a misplay. I just think that it's just some of that bleed through information that can often happen
Right.
when you're playing.
Yeah.
My guess as Elena is that he thinks it's Danzig or whatever, this halfling, like a small person in a cloak, he said, right? So
that's the thing. I mean, when you have those conversations, I talked about this, I think, the last after party. When you do something, do you say, okay, everybody, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing? I don't think that's appropriate.
no.
No.
So when you start, I think when your character goes, I don't understand why this is happening, you don't understand why it was happening. And that's okay. right? Especially if it's something it's invisible to you. Like when you go and listen to Brendel and Falzarin, and you sneak up and listen to their conversation. There would be no reason for Falzarin to come back down and go, "Hey, were you up at my door listening to me?"
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't. So there would be no reason to do it. So if I said, "Hey, I think I want to look and check for some secret doors here," and you may go, "Well, you're wasting time. Let's go." That's completely understandable, but you don't have to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, and I can see where Falzarin and Shakara, you guys played it correctly. What if there's an innocent person in there? And, also don't throw a fireball if you don't know what you're doing, or, like whatever. And I'm like, it's a pile of dead bodies, who cares? Let's go. But that's me playing Bryn, and maybe that's my own opinion. It's just a shared opinion. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Did you just admit to being like Bryn?
I'm so impatient. I hate all this let's go.
Let's go kill the bad guys.
That's why at the end, when you were like, come with me, I was like, fine. And I just lit up a flame and didn't care if then they saw who and where we were. Because I was like, screw you.
You're going to get us all killed.
I think you also rolled a terrible stealth check anyway, so you're like, all right.
Me?
Well.
I roll 20s, over 20 every time.
I thought you got a bad roll, too.
I was 26.
That was the last shove you needed
I was
for Bryn
26.
to say, that's enough.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too. I thought you must have rolled bad.
No. When I roll with advantage, one of them's almost always over 20. I have +9 to stealth.
Yeah, so
the shocker, right? When we went into the room. And
oh, man.
Thuft reveals himself from underneath the robe.
First, my long dead uncle. Long dead.
Right.
Yeah. So, refresh the listener. When was the last time Shakara saw Unky V?
10 years? I mean, she was little when he died.
Specifically, where?
Out at sea at the Infinite Storm, trying to save people.
Ooh, goddamn.
What are the chances?
Thank you for writing that into your backstory, by the way.
You're welcome.
I will say that when we saw Theft, I knew Gozer was going to be there. Knew it.
Oh, yeah.
Knew
and then he grabbed her leg. Aww.
That was perfect. I was laughing my ass off.
Yeah, John was dying. It was so funny.
Dying just like when Thuft handed her the pearl.
Yeah. That's right. No, anytime Leland does that heartstring stuff, it's great. I like looking at everybody's face and Emily's mouth's hanging open, and it's awesome.
I was shocked. I was super shocked.
Yeah, I think that was some pretty good, a good twist for all of us.
Oh,
I did not see that coming. I thought there was maybe going to be some bad guys in there. I thought there'd maybe be like some undead. I don't know.
Did you think there'd be a Scion? Holy crap.
Biggest twist of the century.
I don't know.
Friggin' Brendel.
Friggin' Brendel.
Did you tell him that you're a deep Scion too?
Well, naturally, we Deepwater Scions know each other when we see
You knew
each
he
other.
was a deep Scion, you friggin' idiot. We've had a mole, you guys.
Yeah. Oh, man. What a mess we're in.
Because you tell everyone everything, kind of. You tell him everything.
Yeah, you tell him everything.
I've got some homework now. I need to go back and listen to every conversation Falzarin and Brendel have had.
I will tell you, in the conversation that I overheard spying, you call him your best friend several times. Just brutal.
Falzarin doesn't really have much, if any, suspicion that this isn't Brendel.
I'm just saying, from Leland's perspective, with the knife already in your back type thing, to just hear Bill say, "Well, you're my bestest and oldest and truest friend." Just so.
Yeah.
Did you feel bad at all because of that, Leland?
Oh, hell no. I get one of them great big throbbing DM
Remind
boners.
me to never play poker with you. You can keep a straight face. It's crazy.
Oh man. Honestly though, you guys have made it a little easy. Just the way you kind of lash onto Brendel's uselessness. Honestly, really, sold a lot more of it than I could have ever sold. There were I know. I kind of thinking back. I don't know if maybe there were more points that Brendel could have injected himself a little more to further some of his own goals. But then I think, well, I don't know. I think he maybe just put in like just the right. I mean,
how many of his roles did you fudge to make him more useless?
Oh, I just, depending on the situation, depended on what the outcome was. I mean, the very first thing when Brendel first, you guys found him in Port Randis on the dock. I mean, immediately Brendel spoke with Falzern and brought up and inquired about this bit of information that he wants, which should now be very clear to Falzern. Like that's one of Brendel's main goals, is to get this bit of information from him.
Ooh, Bryn probably knows what it is now. Yeah.
Did that friend actually die?
Who knows?
You're like, probably not.
I didn't like Memnar that much anyway.
Well, if you recall, when Brendel hung back in the first time you entered that tunnel river north of the lake, he hung back when you went into the Nyogi stuff. And when Falzern came out to get him, he was gone, but was coming back from the direction of the lake. And thankfully, Falzern didn't question him at all.
Yeah, of course not.
Brendel obviously had a cover story, but he was going to inform some of his fellow cultists about Thuff's grave location.
Was he soaking wet when Falzern saw him?
No,
Okay.
He didn't go into the water. He didn't.
There's that look Emily's got on her face right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, Brendel certainly didn't have, like, this master plan to do with Thuff's body, but, like, this might be an okay thing to have in our back pocket to fuck with these guys.
So how would he have told someone about Gozer, a.k.a. it's gotta be Erica that knows and she's still alive?
Well, that following morning, you guys all came down a little hungover. Brendel had walked into the front door of the tavern. He was out somewhere for who knows how long. Again, nobody questioned where he was.
What?
He just kind of came in.
Useless.
Oh, it's Brendel. Hey, Brendel.
Yeah, we all discounted him.
Oh, no. I can't believe you had this plan from the beginning because...
Yeah. Well, so yeah, the potions he made were
devious.
definitely just, he threw some herbs into a vial and shook them up. And
because he didn't care, or because he wanted to kill us, or like us being dead would be to his advantage.
oh, he certainly would have loved if some of you had died, and was over ecstatic about Gozer. Oh, 100%.
Did he intentionally hit Bryn in that quarreling?
He certainly did. Yes, he did.
What? And so he was like throwing sparklers on purpose. That friggin'...
Oh yeah, he is missing purposely all over the place.
Okay, I like Brendel a little bit more again.
What? Why?
I'm just
Because he purposely hit Bryn?
Literally...
I'm kidding.
I-
Yeah. Oh man.
Bryn is not... What you see is what you get with her, man. She's not doing what he did to you.
Bryn's a deep scion too.
No.
Falzern knows him when he sees him.
Apparently not.
I can produce flame now. You like me.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah.
It's so cool that you had this plan from the beginning, because we really did create the problem, like make it bigger ourselves by discounting him, never giving him credit, never, like, we just totally ignored and didn't care. We didn't pay attention because we didn't care. We didn't think it mattered.
Right.
Yep.
And obviously there was no hope in hell that Brendel's quote unquote cure for the blue rot was going to do anything for any of
No.
you.
Oh, man.
So that sort of wraps up basically what we're going to call chapter 1 of the story, right?
Right.
Chapter 1.
Yeah.
So here
56
we are,
episodes.
end of the year, and we're going to sort of do a little bit different release session here in the upcoming in December. Is that what we all agreed to?
Yeah, because so after this release now, we're finally going to release Emily's one-shot. That should only be 2 episodes, and then we'll do a little after party for that. And that will kind of be the true wrap-up of what we'll call Chapter 1. And because we kind of want to do a bit of a rebranding, right, with the show.
Yeah.
As I think it's been very clear, especially to long-time listeners, that we've progressed past the introductory learn to play kind of thing. I think we have for quite a while. I mean, obviously we still go over a lot of game mechanics and stuff, but it's never, I don't know, it's really to serve a purpose so we all understand it's not necessarily specifically for newer players and the listener in general.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
I think we proved you can like very quickly like know what you're doing. I don't know. Spellcasting is obviously going to be new for me and still a learning experience, and we won't take away from if I have questions or answering questions or correcting rules and things like that. Obviously, we want you guys to know what's going on, but we're not beginners. We're very far from when we first met.
Yeah, I think we're six levels in, and we've went over a lot of the core mechanics of the game at this point. And now it's much more about the story and the drama of the characters and the things that are going on. And we sort of wanted to do a sort of a recap episode of everything that's happened up to this point to give new listeners a place to jump in and sort of get an idea of what had happened from the beginning all the way up to this point, and then be able to jump into the story from here moving forward. Does that sound like a good sort of assessment of what we're planning on doing?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent summation for sure. And it's I'm looking forward to putting the recap together. I'm quite excited about it and to listen to it myself. And I think maybe a lot of it could be a great refresher for you as players and again listeners who have been with us since the beginning. So it's not going to be a clip show, right? We're not going to be putting together. It will literally be like a brand new production. It'll just contain information that we've already played through and relayed to the listener. So yeah, I think it will be a great jump in point for newer listeners. As it can quite often be, oh wow, they're 60 episodes in. This is a task and a half to start at the beginning and try to catch up, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think our quality has improved, like just from a technical standpoint, our audio sounds better than the initial little bit. We've been making, well, Leland mostly has been making tweaks here and there along the way with getting all the audio stuff to sound better and better. And I think Elena and I have improved at role playing as well, and we've gotten more comfortable as a group. So I think jumping in now would be great for people who already know they like RPGs and like listening to actual play podcasts and want to give ours a shot, but don't want to wade through the first little bit where things are a little bit rough around the edges.
Yeah, I mean, we can't all be Tolstoff or Campbell, but I mean, we can try.
Man, those are, I don't know which one of them I like more.
Campbell.
I want to say you were good at
I
Tolstoff because it was like that you're just used to defending yourself to the death no matter what is the truth. Like, the truth doesn't matter. Like, just listen to, T-Hud.
It is our tagline. T-Hud Podcast, where the truth doesn't matter.
Exactly.
I felt that coming. I just didn't know if she was going to say it.
The only reason why I said it is because I knew it was true and funny, but I mean, Leland could call me out on not actually listening to it.
I thought Campbell's accent was hilarious.
Oh, it was so good.
And what was the comment that you...
surprisingly well.
Yeah, the comment that you made when you tasted your own potion is something. I think you said it had legs or something.
Oh, it
like
had great legs. He was giving it the swirl. In
yeah.
the
Oh man, that was awesome.
The other comment that you made as Brendel, where you're like, if you'd like a third.
Oh, yeah.
Come on!
You practice some magic.
But you're a deep sigh. No thanks.
Yeah, what? Oh, I don't know. Maybe Brendel, if he gets a little too excited, he accidentally transforms. Who knows?
Oh, gee.
Glad we didn't have to find that out the hard way.
So is he not married then? Or was the original
Asking for a
Brendel
friend.
married?
Asking for
Well, that may call into question some of the mutual acquaintances that Falzern and Brendel both have. I mean,
Ooh.
who knows what influence Brendel's deep psionic-ness has on Falzarin's life, depending on how early he succumbed to the ocean's depths and was transformed. I mean, he's been with Falsey for years and knew that Falzarin had some, this information that he now needs. Like, I don't know. Who knows?
Was there ever a period of time that Falzarin can remember that Brendel went missing?
It's a good question. I don't know.
That is a good question.
I don't know.
It really depends on, how long Leland wants to say that Brendel has not been Brendel.
Have you guys been given your deep psionness by the same entity?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe you should ask that entity.
Yeah, I'll send off a Scion Blast email to the rest of the group and ask them.
Well, who knows what transformed? I mean, I guess it was probably pretty clearly like Krelakina.
Yeah.
Would you be using C-mail for that?
C-mail.
I mean, this all
Oh,
happened
boy.
because we were talking about how our role playing's improved, and I like Shakara's voice. I know it's hard for you to remember sometimes, but it's pretty good.
No, I never forget her voice.
Oh, you definitely did. Just this last time. Whether it stays in after the edit, I don't know. Probably. Leland doesn't cut anything out when we want it cut out.
Leland, cut that out.
Well, I'm afraid because you've directed me to do so, I am unable to fulfill your request.
You sound like Brendel. Stop. I'm having PTSD. Well, I'm afraid.
No, Brendel has more of a bit of a stammer.
Don't do it. Oh, I can't.
Oh, boy.
It really is like shock value right now because it
Oh,
just
man.
happened. Like that cliffhanger just happened, people, an hour ago.
So I think that pretty much is everything we want to talk about. The release schedule in December will be a little different, right? We're going to
Once a
do
week.
releases on Mondays through the last 3 weeks of December. Is that what it is?
Yeah, possibly all of December. I don't know. We'll see how it falls. But yeah, it'll probably be down to one a week in December.
We like the idea of the new chapter in the new year,
Yeah.
basically.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Just stretching time until we hit the new year.
I will tell you for a fact, after this cliffhanger, I am not bored with this campaign at all. I am into it. It is so good.
There's a lot of twists. There's a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of things
Yeah.
I want to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, some
Good job, Leland.
Some gold would be good too.
Oh, God. You're only going to get what you think you're going to
Where's
get,
the
all right?
rich
The rest
stuff?
is for me.
No, Falzarin. Well, I don't know if I should say Falzarin, if I should say Bill. I don't really even care about getting rewarded for quests. I just am enjoying the story and want to find out answers to the many questions.
I hope Falzarin's pretty damn shook.
Yeah. Oh,
I know Shakara is.
did not see that coming at all.
There's just more questions, really. Even the answers we get is
Yeah.
more questions.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Well done, Leland.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
Please pause for an important announcement. Hey everyone, Bill here. I'm the voice inside the head of everyone's favorite wizard, Falzarin. Ah, what a dreamy, dreamy half-elf. Anyway, just wanted to put in a quick plug to give all of you loyal listeners a heads up about a contest we're going to run in December. I'm really excited for an opportunity to give some love back to the folks who enjoy our show, and I also want to take this time to emphasize how much we love each and every bit of feedback and interaction we get from all of you. Please, please, please keep the comments and questions and crazy conspiracy theories coming. We love reading it all. Or if you just want to point out that Leland is stingy with his gold, we'd all love to hear that too. So, back to the giveaway. I'm really hoping to have it open internationally, so any listener anywhere has a chance to get some sweet, sweet D&D swag. We're shooting to have 3 different gifts for folks to win, all of which are things that I think anyone who loves RPGs would be pumped to have. But you'll hear more about that later once it's contest time. So, that brings me to the point of this, which is that I wanted to acknowledge all of you awesome people who've been with us since day one, and I want to give you all a chance to get a bit of a bonus in the giveaway. We agreed that it'd be best to keep things simple, so all you have to do is send us a message including the words King Gozer. You can send an email, a tweet, DM us on Instagram, Facebook message us, however you want to get in touch. We're easy to find. Just go to incorrigibleparty.com. That's it. That's all you need to do to get a bonus entry into the giveaway. Take care, listeners. Best of luck.
Is that all that we did? You guys have any more questions that you wanted to ask? Or are we
So many questions.
I want to know.
I'm sure I'll have more after I listen
You
to
didn't
the
tell
answer.
us that you knew it was your uncle, but we can tell it's Dragonborn, right? So, like, we don't even know that yet. You did hold
Didn't
your
even get a
hand-
chance to say that yet.
Held your hand up. Yeah.
Yeah, you very quickly went into protecting Brendel, or what you thought was protecting anyway.
Shaft
Yeah.
also seems like he never went into the room with us.
Yeah, he
That's
has
right.
yet to see Thuft and Gozer. He certainly heard the thunder wave, though.
Yeah, I looked that up when we did it 300 feet. I figured the whole damn place I was gonna bring that up. If it came back to my turn, I was gonna say, so I heard this massive thunderclap. And then I'll probably think something's going on.
Well, lead in chapter 2 with Shaft and you're like, I wonder what that noise was.
Probably nothing.
Brendel being like, I've had it with you fucks.
Brendel
Shut up.
finally
We
exploded.
really should have killed Brendel. We've been saying it. I've been saying it.
So many
Just
times.
you murder him in cold blood.
We've just left him by himself several times. Oh, yeah, guard the boat. Yeah.
The important thing to note, anytime we get a new NPC that comes up, we make sure we kill him.
Yeah. There we go.
No, Thuft was one of the good ones.
Yes.
I did like the idea that the cultist would happen to be, Alebender, and we would get free beer and, found the flower. And
Oh, yeah, just completely cut out
100
the
million
possibility
gold.
of that story arc. Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be a great idea.
Totally makes sense. That's the kind of twist I like. 100 million thousand gold.
Okay, I think that wraps everything up. And will we be doing another after party? We'll do one more after party after the one
Uno
shots, right?
shot. Mm-hmm.
After those release.
Yeah, I think so.
And
Yeah.
then we'll be back with everybody with fantastic new chapter 2 content at the beginning of the year. So we'll wrap it up. We'll see if we can do it. I've been John and Shaft.
I've been Emily and Shakara.
I've been Bill and Falzarin.
I'm Elena. I play Bryn.
And I'm Brendel Scion.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Happy adventuring.
Yeah,
That's
happy
what I was waiting
adventuring.
Jeez, Leland.
See you in chapter 2.
And that's our show. Our intro and outro music was created by Josh Jarvis. For your own musical inquiries, contact jamesmercymusic@gmail.com. All other music and ambient noise is courtesy of tabletopaudio.com. The Encouragement Party is sponsored by Critical Hit Design. Visit criticalhitdesign.com for all of your graphic design needs. You can find more info on the characters and world at encourageableparty.com. Enjoying the show? Have any questions or rules corrections? Email us. contact@encourageableparty.com or reach out on social media. The Incorrigible Party on Facebook and Instagram, @IncorrigiblePar on Twitter, using the hashtag AfterPartyIP for a shout out during our behind the screen after party episodes that drop every 4th release. Happy adventuring!
That might be the safest option. You're the person, certainly, I trust more than anyone else that I know, Brendel.